Welcome to Married at First Sight, Season 15, Episode 4. And this video is for Lindy and Miguel, everyone. And I do separate videos on the couple. So at the end of this video, you will see a link above my head and you can click on it. But welcome back, everybody. Last week I was talking about where is this stress ball that everyone kept saying Lindy was. Well, she showed up this week in full of force. She showed up this episode in full of force, and we started getting a glimpse of Lindy's world, a stress ball world. And let me tell you, it frightened me a little bit because she gets stressed out over little things. Now, Miguel, who likes to play this Dungeons and Dragons, and he likes to go into an alternate universe and create all these alternate universe. He's not gonna need to play Dungeons and Dragons no more. He can now maybe become Captain Marvel and come over here and be Captain Save Lindy. Because she's going to need saving from herself. He is going to be so preoccupied with trying to save Lindy and get her out of her stress world that he ain't going to have no time for Dungeons and Dragons. I'm going to tell you that right now. She going to keep him busy. He is not going to need to be going to Dungeons and Dragons imaginary world. All he's going to have to do is step into Lindy's world, and he going to be going like this. Spinning around, because this girl, she goes up in loops. Did you see all those crates of stuff that Lindy had in the room? What were all those crates in the room? She acted like she was a hoarder or like a homeless person with a hoarder, like she was going to move into that hotel room for 3 or 4 days. Did you see how much stuff she had? And then she couldn't find nothing. She's up in the bathroom for 40 minutes, and he's like, good Lord, do I have to send a search party in here for her? She's just looping. And finally, when he goes in there to get her, she goes, all I really want to do is brush my teeth and put my hair up. Then, girl, what are you in here doing? Why are you looping like this? She gets in her head. I'm telling you, she really does. But so far, Miguel is showing the type of temperament that would need to be with a Lindy. He is calm. He is rational. He looks at it. He sees it, and he backs on up. When he saw her in that bathroom getting all frazzled and stress balled out, you know what he said? He goes, let me back up out of here and going over to this other room and take a leak. He said it may not be a red flag yet, but it's definitely a magenta flag. No, it's a red flag. Call it what it is, Miguel. Don't be less than honest with us now. We know you like to be honest. Don't be less than honest. It's a red flag. Just say it's a red flag, but you'll see how you can deal with it. Lindy says, she finally comes out the bathroom and she said it feels good to be in her natural skin, to kind of get to a point where, he'll get to see her in her natural state. He hasn't seen her curly hair yet. I guess she's got naturally curly hair. Shoot, I bet I might like Lindy's naturally curly hair better. So I'm waiting to see it too, Lindy. Then she starts spiraling out of control, talking about traveling, and I need snacks and I need juice to keep my blood sugar together so I don't spiral out of control. Girl, you might need some Xanax. Forget the snacks and the sugar. That's probably what you don't need because you be coming up and coming down and coming up and coming down. You might need some Xanax or something else. Work out. I don't know what it is that makes you spiral out of control. Talking about she goes crazy over delayed flights and cancellation flights. It seems like any little thing can set Lindy off. Lindy might need an emotional support dog, or maybe that's what Miguel is going to be. Miguel is going to be her new emotional support dog that's going to be by her side all the time to keep her calm and relaxed. He just might need to be the emotional support dog that she really, really needs and been missing all these years. But that family of Lindy, maybe I can understand why she is the way she is, because they be having conversations they shouldn't have, and they can put a person on edge. Because they were talking about, first they were telling her that, be careful because she can lash out when she starts spiraling out of control. And, it's almost like a wounded dog. You touch them and you want to help them and they snap back and bite you. They were describing this other Lindy that gets mean and nasty. So we haven't seen her yet. We've seen the spiraling, but we ain't seen the mean, nasty Lindy yet. But then when that brother started going on in about sex, the brother and the mother started talking about sex. I thought that was out of line. I thought that was an inappropriate conversation to be having with Lindy's husband about when's the right time for them to have sex. First of all, they're not dating no more. They married. Okay, so that conversation is over with. That might be a conversation you could have had when they weren't married. And maybe it would have been a conversation you could have had when she was a younger person. But Lindy is 30-something years old? She ain't a virgin. They act like they're giving away a virgin woman. Lindy ain't a virgin. She is not a virgin. They are not giving away the Virgin Mary. No, they're not. And all this stuff about God wants you to get to know a person before you have sex. That's not even biblical. What is he talking about? That ain't nowhere in the Bible. What book in the Bible does that say that? In fact, people got married. Women weren't even having sex. So when they got married, they didn't know each other. They just had sex. His story about the Bible is so off. Like I just said, I really don't know what kind of religion they are, because they talk about their religious, but then they bring up these fake Bible stories. Then they're always talking about sex. And then they're always talking about they curse and they do all these other kind of things. What kind of religion are there? Because they picking up some of these Bible verses that definitely ain't out of the Bible. But the one thing that I didn't like that Miguel said when they were sitting at the table, and the brother said, I don't know if the brother and the mother was like, what was it about your past relationships that made your relationships break up? Like, what was your role in it? And Miguel couldn't come up with nothing. He was like, well, you know what? Maybe it was because I was misaligned with the women, and the women cheated. I don't know why the women cheated. Now, like I told y'all before, I don't like when people can't acknowledge what they did wrong in relationships. I want to hear Miguel come up with something concrete about what he was doing wrong. I already figured out that Miguel was choosing the wrong women. I already knew that. Last week I told you he was picking women that weren't his intellectual equivalent. And now we're finding out in this episode, he was probably picking women that were using him for his money. That's another thing. But the reason why he got wrapped up with them probably was for the physical only. He was probably picking women off what he was physically attracted to and had nothing else in common. And so the relationship had no really strong or steady foundation. But he better come up with something better about what he did wrong, because that tells me you haven't done any self-introspection. You need to come up with something of what you did wrong in the relationship to contribute to the demise. Miguel need to come up with something, because I don't want to have to be turning on him, because right now I still like Miguel, but I don't like people who can't figure out what they did wrong. But that brother was like, he must have done something wrong because he's 35 and ain't married. That's what I'm saying. If you 35 and you've been wanting to get married, you've been doing something wrong. Doesn't mean you a bad person, but you've been doing something wrong, Miguel. What is it? Maybe it's because that sister of his covers for him all the time, because that sister was off the chain. Between Mindy and Miguel's families, they're overbearing. They are really overbearing, because that sister was overbearing out the box. First of all, talking about you a Cancer, and he's a Cancer and you're a Gemini, and I'm an astrological signs, and I don't see this working. Why would you say that? Even if it's what you believe, even if it's what you read, or why would you say that? You guys are not compatible, and I'm really concerned about you. Lindy kept her cool. She was caught off guard, and you could tell, but she kept her cool, because that sister was coming for her neck. She know, he's a hopeless romantic, and I just need to protect him. Miguel is 35 years old, girl. You do not need to be protecting him. Not in this way. You don't need to be protecting him. Not this kind of way. But maybe that explains why Lindy is the way she is, because they do say Geminis are kind of crazy. I mean, they always have said it, that Gemini's got these two different personalities going on. And in the first couple of episodes, I saw this calm, this really fun, loving Lindy. But then we keep hearing about this other Lindy. That must be the other side of her Gemini that's going to come out later on. We've seen a little bit of it this week, but that must be what they're talking about. And it makes sense that she's a Gemini. But that sister, she was going in, and he was like, what do you bring to the table? And poor Lindy was like, well, I do have a significant amount of student loan debt. I was thinking that last week. I said 2 doctors. I said, that's a lot of education. Did everybody get to pay for all this education with cash or scholarships? And I was having the feeling that Lindy was not a person who went on a scholarship. She just gave me these vibes of no scholarship, to be honest with you. So it sounds like she had to pay for a lot of her education, and she is strapped with a lot of student loan debt. They were saying there wasn't going to be no problem for Miguel, that he likes to problem solve and he would help her. But you know what really bothered me about this student loan debt was when Lindy went back and told Miguel, hey, we're talking about my student loan debt, and I have a lot of student loan debt. And then in the same breath, Lindy started talking about she's been so responsible her whole life. She wants to live a carefree life, and she don't want Miguel, hope Miguel ain't gonna be trying to make her work 40 hours a week. What? So you, in the same breath, you talking about you got a lot of student loan debt, but you don't want Miguel making you have to work 40 hours a week because you want to live more of a carefree life. Well, then you shouldn't accumulate all that student loan debt. You shouldn't accumulate all that student loan debt. If you're not going to use your education to work to pay off the student loan debt, then you shouldn't have accumulated it. But Miguel said he ain't going to be no sugar daddy. Them days are over. He said he's had support women financially 100% while they get to run off and be irresponsible and then I guess go off and cheat on him because maybe they was using him for the money only. He said he is done with that. He's not doing that. And Lindy, I mean, she is a doctor, a physical therapist. It's not like she's a cardiologist or something, but she should make enough money that she can pay off her student loan debt. And this idea that she can just not work 40 hours and she can just have student loan debt lingering for years and years and years, that doesn't make any sense to me. And you know what? Another thing that Lindy said that I didn't like when she was like, oh, well, it shouldn't bother you, Miguel, because it's all on me. No, it's not. When I marry you and we get ready to go buy a house or something together, that student loan debt will show up on your credit. Sure, it's in your name, but it will affect us because every bit of money that you make, you have to pay a student loan debt. This is what I tell people who are still dating. And this is a tip to people out here still dating. Don't be going off people's gross salaries. Go off people's net salaries. People always want to pick people based on how much money they make. Don't do that. Go off a net. Don't tell me about your gross. Go off on your net. Because if you have a lot of student loan debt, or you got baby kids out here where men are paying child support to 3 and 4 kids, it doesn't matter if you 6 figures. Because if all your money is going to somebody else or some other thing before it comes into the household, what difference does it make if you 6 figures? You might as well date a person who only makes $40,000 that has no student loan debt or no kids they're paying for. People better learn math. They better learn math, the difference between gross and net. And it's obvious that Lindy don't know the difference between gross and net. Because to tell somebody I have a lot of student loan debt, but don't worry, it doesn't matter, means to tell me you don't know finances. Miguel won't have to be Captain Saver, Lindy. Lindy, I'm going to give you a financial plan. If Miguel makes a lot of money, then he probably can cover the rent or wherever he's living. Your whole salary needs to go to paying off your debt, and you need to just hammer through it. Cut down on all your whatever you're doing, extra money, drinking with all that liquor in the refrigerator. Your whole paycheck needs to go to paying off your student debt faster, so that your marriage will not be strapped and saddled by a lot of student loan debt. However long it takes, if it's 2 years or 3 years, take your whole salary and pay it off. And yes, you need to work 40 hours. In fact, you might need to work 50 in the first year. But Lindy said she felt calm. She didn't have no episodes on the plane or anything on the airport. She said that Miguel is the calm to her storm. When they all met at the honeymoon in Puerto Vallarta, you know, she said she was happy. You know, Miguel said he put a move on her. He put a move on her, but she was like, no, 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 no. Let's wait. Let's get to know each other a little bit better. I heard that, Miguel. Miguel's like, I'm going to shoot my shot, though. But Lindy said, I don't want to get her heart wrapped up to it because I could see how Lindy does wear her heart on her sleeve. So I could see how she probably could get a little cloudy if she had sex too soon. So, you know, I respect her for that. But I know it ain't going to last long because these two definitely have chemistry. It is evident that they have chemistry. They just don't want to do it too soon, don't want to enforce it, so I'm not too worried about them. As much as Lindy's got all these red flags, I think what showed me the best is that it seems like Miguel can handle it. Miguel is the calm to her storm. Now, if he was frazzled like her, then I think there'd be a problem. And before the show started, that's what I thought. I thought Miguel was going to be just as frazzled as Lindy, and there wasn't going to be any balance. But I'm clearly seeing that Miguel is quite a steady Eddie person, and he probably can handle Lindy's frazzleness. And if she tones it down and she learns how to control that, I still think that they could be a good couple. So I'm still rooting for these two. But that's it, y'all. Talk to you later. Bye.